You know how Netflix just knows what you want to watch next? Or how Amazon seems to predict what you're going to buy, sometimes even before you do? Well, that's not magic. That's business analytics. And today we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how businesses are using data to make way smarter and way faster decisions. So let's get into it.
So if you're running a business today, you're constantly at this crossroads. Do you go with your gut feeling, trust your experience, or do you rely on the cold, hard data? That exact choice right there is why business analytics isn't just a buzzword anymore. It's absolutely essential. And the answer to that choice? It's all about embracing what's called data-driven decision-making, or DDDM for short. Now this sounds fancy, but all it really means is that instead of just going on a hunch, every big decision you make is backed up by actual data. The whole point is to take all that raw information, customer reviews, sales numbers, market trends, and turn it from just noise into something you can actually use, real, actionable insights. Okay, so to really get how this all works, we can break analytics down into a couple of big categories. First up, let's look at the kind that's all about the past. Think of it like looking in the rearview mirror of your car. You're trying to understand what just happened, and more importantly, why it happened. And right here, we hit a really key difference. On one hand, you've got descriptive analytics. This is the simple stuff. It just tells you what happened. Your monthly sales report? That's descriptive. It's just the facts. But then you have diagnostic analytics, which is where things get interesting. It asks, why did it happen? It's all about digging deeper to find the root cause, like figuring out the real reason so many customers left last quarter.
But looking in the rearview mirror is only half the story, right? The real power, the game-changing stuff comes from looking forward, from trying to predict what's on the road ahead and actually using that to steer your next move.
Okay, this is where analytics gets really exciting. First, there's predictive analytics. It takes all that history and uses it to forecast what's probably going to happen next. Like guessing next quarter's sales. But then you have prescriptive analytics. And this is the next level. It doesn't just tell you what's coming, it tells you what you should do about it. It's the huge leap from asking what will happen to answering, okay, so what's the absolute best thing we can do right now? Like telling you the perfect price for a new product to make the most money. It's incredible.
So a great way to think about all four of these is like a ladder. You can't just jump to the top. Each step builds on the one before it. And as you climb, things get a bit more complex, but the value you get is so much higher. You have to start on the bottom rungs, understanding the past with descriptive and diagnostic, before you can use that knowledge to start shaping the future with predictive and ultimately prescriptive analytics.
So you're probably wondering what's making all of this incredible stuff possible. Well, let's pop the hood for a second and take a quick look at the engine, the core tech that's driving all of this.
Everything, and I mean everything, starts with the fuel. And that fuel is big data. Now, you hear this term all the time, and a good way to wrap your head around it is with the 5 V's. First, there's volume. We're talking just staggering amounts of data. Then, velocity, how insanely fast that data is being created, like every single second. Variety is next, because this data isn't just numbers in a spreadsheet. It's text, photos, videos, you name it. Then there's veracity, which is a huge one. It's basically asking, can we even trust this data? Is it accurate? And finally, the V that matters most, value. Because all that data is worthless if you can't get any useful, game-changing insights out of it.
So, if big data is the fuel, then machine learning is the engine that burns it. What is it? Well, it's basically a set of really smart algorithms that let computers learn from data all by themselves. So instead of a human programmer writing a million rules, the computer just looks at the data, finds the patterns, and makes predictions. And the coolest part? It gets smarter and more accurate the more data you feed it.
And this amazing engine, it works in 2 main ways. Think of it like this. First, you have supervised learning. This is like learning with a teacher. You give the computer a ton of examples where the right answer is already known, like showing it thousands of emails and telling it this one is spam, this one is not. It learns from those labels. But then you have unsupervised learning. This is more like exploring on your own. You just give the computer a mountain of data with no labels and say, find something interesting in here. And it might discover hidden patterns, like grouping your customers into brand new segments you never even knew existed.
All right, so we've covered the big ideas, but let's get practical for a minute. How do people actually do this stuff? What are they using? It's time to look at the tools of the trade.
When it comes to the software analysts use, there are a few heavy hitters. Let's quickly compare 3 of the biggest. First, you've got R. It's free, it's incredibly powerful, and it's the darling of statisticians and academic researchers. The only catch? The learning curve can be pretty steep. Then there's Python. It's also free, and has pretty much become the Swiss Army knife for all things data science and machine learning. It's a bit easier to pick up than R. And finally, there's SPSS. This one isn't free, but its big selling point is a super user-friendly point-and-click interface. It's perfect for business folks who need answers fast and don't want to get bogged down in code. So really, no matter your background, there's a tool out there for you.
You know, when you boil it all down, this quote on the screen just nails it. Business analytics is simply the process of transforming data into insights to improve business choices. It's all about that journey, taking what starts as a jumbled mess of raw data and turning it into something clean, clear, and powerful that helps you make better, smarter calls. That's the whole game.
And all of this leaves us with one last thing to think about. As these analytical tools get smarter and smarter, moving beyond just predicting what's next to literally prescribing the best thing to do, it brings up a really fascinating question, and I mean for you personally. If you had to, what is the one decision in your life you would be willing to hand over completely to an algorithm? It's kind of a wild thought, right? And it's something we're all going to be grappling with a lot more in the years ahead. Thanks for diving into this with me today.